Hi everybody. Hi Johnny. In the shop today, you might notice that Joe Conkley is not here. He's on vacation. Lucky duck. So today we're going to talk about classical guitar restrings. Stringing a nylon string guitar is probably up there in the list of things that people ask questions about, and people want demonstrations about at the counter here. It's something they don't want to do themselves. I feel like a lot of people look at a steel string guitar, an electric guitar, and they say, oh, I can figure that out. But then they look at a nylon string guitar, they see all those knots, and they go, no thanks. So, on the bench here we have a Martin 0016C, which is a very cool guitar. I don't know why, if you want to come in and get a shot at this, one thing I want to show is what a beautiful Brazilian rosewood fingerboard this guitar has. I think it just has a really nice figure. Looks really slick. This one's got obviously some playwear there. Something that you'd expect to see on a guitar this age. We are going to be stringing this up with some D'Addario J45s. This is a string that we put on pretty much every classical guitar that we sell in the shop here. And it's a D'Addario. It's a good middle of the road string, decent string, good price. And these are going to be normal tension strings. So classical guitars, you have instead of like in a steel string guitar where you have lights and then mediums and custom lights and extra lights, you have normal tension or hard tension and light tension. So I like that. It's normal, keeping things normal. I've already got one string on here, and the first thing I think about when I'm stringing up a classical guitar is the clearance of the cutout for the machines, and how that's going to affect the direction of the string coming off the nut. On a lot of guitars, the peg head isn't wide enough and the cutout isn't wide enough to accommodate this string being wound in this direction. What happens is it ends up riding against the wood on this side of the peg head. And that's not good. It's going to wear a groove in there. It's going to mar the instrument. We don't want to do that. So I checked that. On this instrument, there's enough clearance. So I wound it to this side of the string hole. And what that does is it allows the string to come the straightest path possible through the nut. Nylon string guitars, anyone who's played one knows that they're really difficult to keep in tune, or the strings take a long time to stretch out, and for those first few hours of playing, they really go out of tune really easily. So we really want to do everything we possibly can to make sure that the strings are on there tightly, and that they're not going to bind through the nut slots, and you're not going to do anything to exacerbate those tuning issues that are pretty common. So we're going to tie this string on down here now. And again, there's a lot of different ways to do this. People always ask me, how many reps does this need? And the answer would be, it needs, or you should put on however many it needs. Basically, enough reps to make sure that the tail end of this string is on the back side of the bridge and not sitting on top of the bridge. If it's sitting on top of the bridge, it's going to have a tendency to slide forward. The string's going to go slack. It's going to go out of tune. Sometimes, like you see Cordovas come in, they just got that one loop. They got a really slick way of doing it. It goes around there once and it gets pinched in place. I don't know. I find it tends to slip whenever I do it that way, so I give it more winds. So, and this is a good time to say that there's a lot of different schools of thought on how to put on nylon strings, classical guitar strings. Everybody has their own way to do it, who does it a lot, and everyone thinks that way is like the best way to do it. So this is really just like how I do it, how a lot of people here in the shop do it. It's not like the end-all be-all perfect way to do it. If you do it a different way, feel free to mention it in the comments and tell me I'm doing it wrong. and yeah, so that's that. Anywho, so first things first, the string comes through here. You want to leave yourself a decent amount of slack on this end. Not so much that you're going to have trouble on the other end and without having enough string. So I usually leave about 2 inches or so. And when I do this, I always wrap each string around the previous string. Again, we're just trying to minimize any possible slippage in the string. we're going to go over the top. We're going to come around. And we're going to mark our spot where we're going to fold it under. And in this case, I'm giving these low bass strings about 2 winds through. I find that's typically about enough to get that. So you'll notice this wind here, and as it is on this string here, on the back edge of the bridge. Not, if it was sitting like this. Let's see if I can do this wrong for a second. If it's sitting up on top of the bridge like that, that's a big no-no. You don't want that. So you want to make sure you pull this tight enough. That's going to sit down on the back of the string. So let me come down to this end. And again, there's a lot of different ways that people wind this on, and there's a lot of different methods, and they'll vary from type of string to type of string. A lot of people will tie these low ones on and just double loop these high ones through. That's fine. I do them all the same, and like I said, I always try to wind them so that they're having the straightest path coming out of the nut. And in terms of the amount of slack you have on here, on a steel string guitar, the amount of slack matters because you hear those rules like, for a wound string, it's 1 post worth of slack. On an unwound string, it's 1.5 posts. For a 3 to a side guitar, it's double that for a 6 on one side guitar. And the reason those rules exist is to give it a certain number of winds, and that's not because you need a certain number of winds for the guitar to stay in tune. Otherwise, it'll slip. Really, what in that instance, you're trying to get enough winds to create a proper break angle across the nut. On a slotted peghead guitar like this, the break angle's already made for you. We need enough winds here to properly secure the string, and so that it doesn't slip or go out of tune. So, my rule of thumb is typically about the length of the string cavity here. It usually ends up being a good amount of string to do this. Some people wind the entire string on there. That's okay too. It's not what I do. So I put a bend in the string, obviously, where I want my string to contact the tuner. That's where we're going to start. Now, for this particular knot, the string is going to come up through the inside of the peg head. So we're here, right? Now, the string is going to go over the top of the post and around the string, and it's going to go over and around on the side that you want your winds to go. So looking at this A, I probably could go either direction, but I think it would line up best if I went on this side of the hole. So I'm going to come over that side of the hole, and then I'm going to fold it back down like this, right? And then this string, this end right here, is going to go back inside that loop. So we got to loosen it up just a little bit. You need more light line. Would this help? Go in the hole, and we pull it tight. So we have that. And that's a pretty good knot. You could just wind it from there. What I like to do is wind each subsequent wrap over the top of that string as well. Really lock it in place. So, as you can see, the end of our string is really, really pinched in there. It's got to slip really, really far to cause an issue. And I always fold this over. You can kind of see how I did this one. Wrap this one over so that the end I'm going to cut is going to be facing away from the side of the peg heads, because I don't want that cut end of the string to always be spinning around there and scratching the inside of the peg box there. So it sits just like that. And that's basically it. Repeat 5 more times. Another thing is string winders. Classical guitar, a lot of stretching out, a lot of cranking of the strings. So peg winders I feel like a peg winder is always a must, but even more so when you're doing a nylon string guitar. Obviously, you know, here in the shop, we like to go with the drill chuck peg winder because you know I already have a drill for doing everything else, and might as well just have one tool. We do sell a couple options that are also good. You know, we sell the powered version, which will cut your time in half and take it easy on your wrist. We have also a couple different styles of a hand crank one. This one I like because it has the thing that chucks in your drill. So if you have a drill and you want to drill, if you want to do it the right way, you can do that. I think that's about it, Juan.
Cool.
So thanks for watching. Like us and share us, and everybody have a good day.